What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. This one is how digital nomads are destroying Bali's economy. I'm not too sure if I agree at the offset. I haven't watched the video yet. We're going to watch it together. But I do know that before COVID, I did live in Bali and it was just awesome at that time. These days, personally, it's not for me. I feel like it has been ruined by a lot of foreigners, Westerners moving there. And just me personally, if I'm going to leave a Western country and live in an Asian country, I don't really want to live around other Westerners. I mean, what's the point of leaving in the first place, right? But that's just my opinion. Not everyone shares the same opinion as me. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. But this particular video is by Jimmy the G, published 4 days ago, 16,000 views, 261 comments. He reckons that digital nomads are destroying Bali's economy. Let's see what he's got to say.
I went to a local here in Bali and I asked about the influence, how the country has changed since taking all of these digital nomads and all of these wealthy foreigners. A lot of them, funnily enough, they didn't really want to talk on camera. I think they were kind of like, I don't know, they didn't want it out there or whatever. Maybe they're not as free speechy over here, perhaps. What it seemed like, right, was that a lot of them in this area, especially if you're in a place like Ubud or Uluwatu or these places that are up and coming and being built up, you'll be a farmer who owns, like, I don't know, a couple acres of land or something, and someone will come to you, some wealthy like Westerner will come to you and just give you a big bag of cash and be like, sell us your land. And to this person, this could be like a whole year's salary, and that's like, you know, £6,000 or something. It's not a lot. And the developer will buy the land. And even if they say no, they'll double it and double it and double it, because obviously they could really like spend up to about 100 grand, probably 200 grand, and it would still be profitable for them. But they will spend a couple grand on them, and they will offer them a bunch of money, more money than they've ever seen in their life, and they'll sell the land, and the developer will turn it into like a, you know, some housing or a boutique hotel or a beach club or something like this. And what he was saying was a lot of these locals, they don't know what to do with the money, because you're from a culture that's like, I'm going to guess, more rural subsistence farming. You don't have fucking financial literacy. You don't know what to do with this money. So you buy a car and then you buy like maybe some nice stuff, like nice clothes or something. But a lot of them didn't go and invest it somewhere else because they just don't think, you know, they haven't been taught to think like that. So yeah, it's kind of what he was saying is, they get dangled like a carrot in front of their face. They take it, and then they slowly, as a people, lose the wealth amongst their community. They're just giving off land that is clearly valuable, because otherwise why would the developer be offering money? And so they sell up the sovereignty of this country to wealthy Western people. Well, Western as well, just foreign people. So, and he was saying, so like that's the thing that happens with like land, and like assets are one of the most important things when it comes to like a country having wealth. Who owns the assets is like the most important thing. And so all the locals are losing their assets for like short-term amounts of money, and it drives up, ironically, it then drives up the price, because if you sell your land to foreign people, they're then going to build these luxury hotels, luxury resorts, and then that land, that area inherently becomes more valuable. And so you've literally, ironically, priced yourself out of your own town. So the property prices skyrocket. So when I was asking him, I was like, has this influx of Western tourists, has it benefited your country? He was basically saying, not really. It's made it way harder for us to afford to live in the place that we're from. And a lot of them are moving out. And a lot of the industry just becomes like being effectively sort of like a servant to the wealth. Like, you have to, in order to earn money, you have to go and work for the wealthy people. You have to go work in a hotel, a restaurant. You serve the wealthy people. You don't have your own internal economy where the locals are, I don't know, funding each other and trading amongst each other. That exists, but it's like a fraction of the money you would get from servicing the wealth. And then the last thing he was saying, so he was a farmer, and one of the things he was saying is their organic, like local, classical traditional way of farming the land, which is very sustainable and very like organic, makes really good fruit, food, etc. He was saying that's being lost because it's becoming less and less competitive, right? So whereas they might grow some really nice tomatoes or something and they want to sell it, they're getting priced out by farmers who are willing to not do the organic way of growing. So if you're willing to buy pesticides and like monoculture a plot of land, you're going to get priced out.
I'm here standing in Shifa Hospital.
If you want to go down the organic route, because that guy has a competitive advantage on you. So
that's a bit interesting to hear that is the case in Bali, because I know a lot of people who live in Bali want organic and they only buy organic, and there's a lot of vegans and things like that over there that will only buy food that is grown in a certain way. So that's actually an interesting perspective to hear.
It basically kills it and forces these farmers that want to be more respectful to the land and do better quality stuff to not do that if they want to even make a living. And he was saying some of the price margins that they make on their food is terrible. And yet that 10 minutes away it's being sold in a very luxury restaurant for an incredible markup. And yeah, it's just, to me, it's a really distorted economy. It doesn't...
That is unfortunately capitalism, but it is distorted. It is... The thing is, this is a problem for the Indonesian government to be able to deal with and to handle, and I don't think they are doing it in the right way. So I'm in Vietnam at the moment, and I know that there are a lot of rules and regulations which a lot of Western people hate because they can't take advantage of the market, but it gives the local people, the Vietnamese, all the opportunities in the world to take advantage of those rules because it's to the benefit of the people. As one of the biggest problems I see in the Western world is that the governments don't care so much about the people, right? So I can obviously see that happening here in Bali, like Jimmy the G is saying, right? There needs to, something is going to have to happen because it can't go on like this.
It doesn't feel like a healthy economy. It feels like so unequal and very unsustainable. I can't see how this will last for a very, very long time before something would make the locals change their mind on it and there'll be laws about it. But yeah, it was interesting seeing it because they're all very, very friendly, very nice, and when you speak to them they're always really upbeat and they're really polite to tourists. But I noticed once I started asking about the reality of it that his whole mood sort of changed, his vibe kind of changed a bit, and it was interesting to see, and he was like being quite honest about it. So yeah, I don't think it's this inherent massive benefit. One last thing, sorry, slow down. They were also told, when they were told, like, okay, we're going to bring in tourists, they were promised that they were going to get better infrastructure for them. So they were going to, like, build out the roads, make stuff safer, maybe hospitals are getting better and stuff. None of that shit happened. They didn't do any of that. Because, obviously, like, they don't need to do that. They don't have power. Like, the local people don't have the power to sort of demand that. So why would you do it? Like, they have some laws that protect locals in terms of employment, but it's not a lot. So yeah, if I was to give like a prediction of Bali, and I'm just looking around and seeing how I could see it play out, right? I can imagine this model will have problems in Bali in probably like 2 generations time, maybe the next generation, because in England, like one of the popular narratives that like very far right people use is they say stuff like, we are becoming a minority in our own nation, and they specifically will say stuff like foreigners get treated like kings while our people are on the streets. It's insane because obviously that isn't happening, but it's a very powerful narrative, the idea that someone from a different country is coming to your country and being treated better than you. That's why these far right people use it, because it works. In Bali, it's actually true, like in the sense that you were born and bred in Bali and you grew up here your whole life, and all of a sudden loads of very wealthy Western people, foreign people, it's not even just Westerners, very wealthy people come here and they're being treated better than you. Now, why I think that won't be the first generation...
It's funny how it's actually true in a foreign country, except in your own country. I don't understand the mindset of some people. This is something, it doesn't matter what country or landmass you're in. If you import a bunch of foreigners, it's going to affect the dynamic of the country. It really doesn't matter what country you're referring to. This is why many Asian countries don't allow you just to become a citizen, right? They don't make it easy for you to naturalize. It's why they have so many different rules and policies and regulations regarding the purchase of land and the holding of assets. We look at these countries and we say that's a good thing because it allows them to keep their culture. But then in the West, we just allow anyone to come in and to take advantage of the economy to the detriment of the people who already live there, who are from there. So I just think it's very contradictory. It's, this guy is saying it doesn't happen in the UK, but it happens somewhere else. Why is that? Why is it not happening in the UK, but somehow you can see it in Indonesia? Why is that?
It's because the first generation, they will see their lives improve somewhat from their parents. Like, their parents would have lived in small farm huts on rice fields and wouldn't have had electricity, wouldn't have had running water, they're going to see their lives improve a little bit. So they probably won't be susceptible to being sort of radicalized or something. But I could imagine in a generation or two's time where the inequality gets so bad that then the native Bali people start to struggle, you're going to see that their lives aren't better than their parents' generation, and they're going to look at themselves and be like, we're kind of just servants to these wealthy people that are from a different country.
Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you think that your parents' generation was better than your current generation? Let me know if you are in a better spot now in terms of like the living costs and everything and the opportunities that you have compared to, you know, maybe your parents when they first bought the house, or, you know, to that regard. Let me know, guys, if it's your generation that is getting better, or if you look at previous generations and you think, yeah, we might have been at the end of it. I'd love to know in the comments. Let's have a chat. I'll see you in the next one.